Welcome to another Women in Baseball edition of Baseball Biz on Deck. Today's guest, Meggie Meidlinger, has contributed to the game as an accomplished architect and a pitcher for the USA Women's National Baseball Team. Meggie most recently was awarded Sportswoman of the Year by USA Baseball. Meggie continues her success in architecture with the recent renovation of the University of Georgia's baseball Foley field.
Welcome to Baseball Biz on Deck. I'm Mark Carpenter, your host, and with me today, I have a lady who just, it's amazing all the things that this person puts into their life. We're talking about the relief pitcher for the USA Women's National Baseball Team who took Japan, who thought they had a great thing going after 39 games of wins. And this relief pitcher came in and put an end to that. She's an architect. She has done a lot with missionary work and with folks in Uganda. We've talked about some of these things in the past. I'm talking about Ms. Meggie Meidlinger. Hey, Meggie, how you doing today?
Hey, Mark. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Oh, gosh, it's great to have you back. There's just so much going on. And like I said, we've talked about your career in baseball before, and I want to talk a little bit about what you're still doing with it in the past. But right now, I want to speak to what you've been doing as an architect, because I've had Janet Marie Smith on here before, a lady who's pretty instrumental in putting everything together for Camden Yards and a whole renovation going on at Dodger Stadium this year. And it's amazing to see her work. So I saw some of the work that you did as an architect for the University of Georgia's baseball team. And that had to be something. I saw some of the photos. I got to tell you, Meg, it looked like I was in an MLB locker room.
Well, that project was just an incredible project to be a part of. Getting to combine my passions of baseball and architecture was just a dream come true for me. As a kid, I wanted to be both a professional baseball player and an architect. And so to get to have a project that combined those two passions together was something else, Mark, and just great to be a part of. And I do have to touch on Janet Marie Smith is a huge inspiration for me as a female sports architect, and what she's done for architecture and ballparks across America is just something incredible. So she's an incredible human being.
And I am grateful to have had the opportunity to chat with her too, because people need to be aware that, I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't know who she was until I started doing overall homework on Camden Yards. I said, because I think of Larry Lucchino and all that, but I didn't think of the person who was actually behind the urban design, the person who actually put all this together and actually brought some people together with varying attitudes or ideas and making it work. So kudos to her as well. Just amazing work. Well, let me ask you about it, because anytime I would imagine an architect, you have to have kind of like a project manager mindset. There's elements of things that have to get done. There's shareholders involved, certain deliverables from certain people. How long did it take just to do the mapping out of planning for this?
All of the above. Like you said, Mark, all of the above is under the responsibilities of the architect. And I got to be a part of the project from interview to design and managing the construction documents and then being out on the job site. So being a part of it from start to finish was just something else. And yeah, as the project architect, you have to rally all the consultants together and organize client decisions. And for me, as the role of an architect, my job is to make a client's dreams become a reality and to work with the visions and what the coaching staff, what the athletic department has in mind for the facility, and being able to create a space that allows those visions and dreams to come true and work for the efficiency of the ball program and become a state-of-the-art facility and be competitive within the SEC. So,
well, it's certainly state-of-the-art. Hopefully we can get some photos I can post later on too of what you all achieved, because it is just absolutely amazing, Maggie. I looked at it, like I said, it rivals what I've seen of a lot of the Major League Baseball for just the locker room itself. But you're working with the NCAA and you're working with the SEC, and there are certain criteria, I'm sure. I mean, as far as the depth of the field, there are certain things that are unique, because I thought maybe the NCAA came up with some new regs for 2025 a couple of years ago. Where there's a certain framework you had to work within?
Yeah, I mean, we always have to apply to all the NCAA rules and regulations along with SEC. I mean, that goes anywhere from certain criteria of the field and having a equal visitors bullpen to home bullpen and camera locations for broadcasting. And so our scope of the work is not just the finishes and programming, but it's coordinating all of those things from broadcast camera locations to making sure we're adhering to all those regulations. And it was such a fun project to be a part of, to get to understand all the programming elements that they were wanting to add on to their existing facility and working around all the existing conditions of what they currently have and within our parameters of the site, and getting all those additional elements into the site was really fun to be a part of.
Well, that's interesting because you're not working with a blank slate. You're having to work around a structure that's there.
Correct. In an existing seating bowl, you have site parameters. We had Rutherford Street right behind it, so we're dealing with different grade changes. So in order for the height of our batting tunnels and pitching lab, what we're really doing is coordinating with the site standards of Rutherford, because we are entering off of that street for our new entry, and then coordinating with the back parking lot. So there were a lot of site studies that we did. We looked at several options. I think that's one of the things that people don't always realize with architecture and design is every single study under the sun has been looked at and studied, and pros and cons. And we had looked at it down the first baseline, the third baseline, how it would extend around the outfield. And so always working within budgets and needs and programming to just come up with a really quality design that would be efficient for the team and all their uses that they needed.
One thing I'm curious about too, because we talked, I think, before about this, having the perspective, much as you mentioned, as a baseball player, not only that, as a pitcher, what about the bullpen area? What does that look like?
Honestly, I'm thrilled about the bullpen and the pitching lab area in this project, Mark. Taking several perspectives. I mean, I'm still currently a player on the USA Women's National Baseball team. I also have the privilege of coaching several MLB events with the girls, and I've had the privilege to be in so many incredible stadiums across the country and across the world, and seeing how they're laid out, what I like, what I don't like. And then from a fan perspective too, I'm a huge baseball fan. Honestly, my favorite seat in any ballpark is I always go by the bullpen, and if you can sit right behind the plate of the bullpen, you get to see every single pitch that pitcher is working on. You get to see the break of the ball, and you get to see their warm-up routine and what all that they need with med balls and plyos and J bands. And to me, I was really excited. I'm excited about this whole project, but the adjacencies that we were able to acquire for both the home bullpen and the pitching lab for this project, what we did is we actually flipped the home bullpen where the visitors, we did a little flip there and with the dugout. So UGA was originally on the first baseline for their dugout and bullpen, and we switched them to the third baseline to be closer to all the new player spaces that we're giving to them. And so the adjacency, we have roll-up doors. So you literally walk right from the pitching lab right out into the bullpen. Pitching rubbers are all lined straight from inside to outside. You have the flexibility to bring any of the technology that you need outside. We're able to fit in 2 turf mounds and 1 dirt mound. The whole field is turf, but you go and travel to many different SEC fields and you have a dirt mound. So giving those players the ability to train and practice as they need to, depending on who they're playing. And then the really cool thing is how we redeveloped the entry. Before, the main entry was right behind home plate. And that's where a lot of the premium spectators get to park and then walk down. But the majority of the folks coming to the stadium are parking out behind the left field and center field fences and coming far from campus. And so to give them an entry that's a little bit closer for flows in and out of the stadium. So now when you enter off of Rutherford, right when you enter through the gates, you have that moment seeing the stadium and seeing the field immediately. And I don't know about you, Mark, but I still remember my first stadium that I went to was Camden Yards, done by Janet Marie Smith. And that moment as a kid, you hear the crack of the bat, the crunch of the peanuts, and just right when you walk in through that threshold of a ballpark. And so that's what we were trying to do at UGA, is right when you walk through the threshold, you get to see the field. You are led right out onto standing room only, where you look down right into the bullpen, which, like I just said before, I love that atmosphere of you can grab a beer, grab a burger or a hot dog, and you get to see what the pitchers are working on and have that engagement. We also added brand new seats, 4 top mesh seats that are right behind the bullpen on the plate side. So getting to see all the movement that I was just talking about of how the pitchers are working on their breaking ball, fastball locations, all of that. And so giving that from that pitcher's mentality that I have of wanting those adjacencies and flow and being able to see the field from where you're warming up to the fan side as well of getting to experience all of those atmospheres of the ballpark, but not only the ballpark, but of the bullpen as well.
I can't wait to come up here and visit and see this. My
You
gosh.
got to come to a game. They're doing extremely well this season, which is so cool to see.
Well, it sounds like a good start, a good starting point. So that's good. And so it's Foley Field at the University of Georgia, correct? Is
That
that
is correct.
Athens?
Athens, Georgia. Yep.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, I can't wait to come up. Oh, I did see something on social media of you and your other friends from the architecture. Went to a Braves game, it looked like.
Yes, we sure did. We have a yearly tradition that we go to opening day at Truist Park every single year. So the only year we missed was the inaugural season, but we've made it a point to make it to opening day every single year. Yeah.
I used to watch the Braves so much because they had two of our former Rays here. Well, Charlie Morton and Travis d'Arnaud. I
Yep.
know both of them are somewhere else now. How are they doing this year? I haven't kept up with them.
Uh, the Braves are maybe not off to the best start, but you can't tell a whole lot from the first
No,
few weeks of the season. So we're
no.
still going to give them a little bit of time.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yes, I know. I see some of these teams. Who was it the other night? Was it the Cubs beat the Dodgers? Like the Cubs were in double digits, and the Dodgers like I don't know a couple of runs. And it's like, good gravy. This
Yeah.
game, you never know what's going to happen with it.
You never, that's the great thing about baseball is you never know, and the whole game can change by one pitch. And that's again one of the cool parts about being a pitcher is you can have
Oh,
so much control and you're involved in literally all the action while you're pitching of every single pitch. Which yeah, a game can change in an instance.
I don't want to get up too much, but it just tickles me when I'm watching some of these games, and it's a national game, and you look at these young people who are out there on the mound in the field. And guess what? All the great things you do and all the mistakes that you make are there for everyone to see. And whether it be World Series Game 5 and who's going to cover first, or the Rays the other night, and I think it was the fifth inning also, and they gave up 8 runs. And it's like, what? But that's the excitement of baseball because you never know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know. But
Absolutely.
you celebrated baseball in more than just. I want to talk about working with youngsters and all that in a moment, but I know you do with Uganda as well.
hmm
And did the architect as well as the baseball player go there?
Uh, I think I know what you're asking, Mark. And so what originally got me over to Uganda was I was working for a ministry doing architecture work. So
Gotcha.
I originally went to Uganda to do architecture, and I miss playing baseball, and so wanted to teach a few others baseball as well. And you can't travel anywhere and know that you're living there for a long time without taking 2 mitts. So that's how we started playing and been fortunate enough to help start women's baseball over there. And now Ugandan women's baseball has expanded to 8 different regions in Uganda with several hundred girls playing baseball now, which is really incredible to see the growth in just a short amount of time since 2019. So
Wow.
Baseball at Heart has been doing an incredible job of starting women's baseball over there.
Well, I want to thank you and all the good people who are behind that. And sometimes in the world today, it's hard to find good moments and folks making a difference in other people's lives. So thank you for making a positive move there. And I know that was also celebrated, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, with a film feature, See Her, Be Her.
That is correct. See Her, Be Her just came out in the fall. It's an incredible documentary. Highly recommend anyone listening here today to check it out. It's now available on Amazon Prime. It follows women from all around the world and their baseball journey. And so Kelsey Whitmore on Team USA is highlighted. It covers folks from Japan, Canada, also follows a player from Uganda. So it does have lots of footage from Uganda and how baseball is growing there. And so highly recommend it. Everybody should go check out See Her, Be Her on Amazon Prime.
And who was the person, the lady who put most of that together? Photographer.
Jean Fruth, Jeff Idelson and Jean Fruth are the producers of See Her, Be Her, both incredible people. I have the privilege to call both of them dear friends of mine, and they did an incredible job. And just the footage There's also a companion book that goes with the documentary, See Her, Be Her, and it's a compilation of all the photographs that Jean has taken all around the world covering women's baseball, which is just incredible.
I love her work. I mean, all along, I've been following her photography. As a matter of fact, Tamara Holmes was the first one who introduced me to it. She had this image. I forget who. It's one of the catchers. Forgive me, Tamara, but that she showed me of. It's like, wow. But to follow Jean after that and see that come up, I know it was during the World Series. I think it was between games. MLB ran that on the MLB network.
They did.
And that was the night I couldn't get a connection. So I bought it on Amazon shortly there when it became there available shortly thereafter. But yeah, it's a great film, and folks, you should check that out. It does say a lot about the game, about the women in baseball, and you have some really sharp professionals, like you're saying with Gene and Jeff, what they assembled with that. So that had to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it was so much fun.
All righty, let's come back for a moment. Now, most recently, after doing all this architectural work, like I said, you're not a one-woman show. You're a one-woman show. You just got a lot of different players in it. I mean, whether it be the architect, whether it be the baseball player, but also as a coach and a leader. And talk about what where you at just last week, I believe it was.
Yeah, just this past week, I got back from the MLB and USA Baseball Trailblazers series. This is an incredible event. It first started in 2017. This particular event was an event for 12 to 14-year-old girls. So we had about 100 girls show out for this event. MLB hosted it at the Jackie Robinson Training Complex down in Vero Beach, Florida. Incredible complex. And we always have this tournament. We always have the Trailblazer series right around Jackie Robinson Day, which is April 15th, which is tomorrow. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. And just the impact that Jackie had as a trailblazer, that everything that he stood for, his character traits, how he carried himself as a person, as a baseball player on and off the field, are just character traits that we want to resemble and carry forward. And he was such a trailblazer to allow so many others to play baseball. So we always love this Trailblazer series to celebrate Jackie, everything that he stood for, and allow girls to continue to blaze the trail and allow opportunity for more girls to play baseball.
Well, thank you for that. Tomorrow is Jackie Robinson Day, number 42. Everybody should be wearing that tomorrow. And I'm excited about that. But what you're talking about, all that he did, a lot of folks can simply say, oh, Jackie Robinson, he was the first man crossing over from the Negro Leagues into Major League Baseball. But it didn't end there. And anybody who's read the books or seen 42 has a glimpse of some of that. But what they don't necessarily think of is Jackie Robinson beyond baseball and all that he did as a civil rights leader. And he was out there. He was when everybody else was afraid to speak out, he was speaking out. And there are some folks out there who would probably like to erase or modify that history, but it's their boys and girls. And so when you do have heroes like Jackie Robinson out there, it behooves all of us to share those stories and make sure that people remember what he's achieved and to honor that legend as well. Now, there's still members of the Robinson family around. I mean, at the Trailblazer series, do you get some visitors from them?
Absolutely. In the past years, both Rachel Robinson has been able to join us. Jackie's granddaughter has been able to join us, and just getting to hear from them and stories of Jackie and is just incredible to hear those firsthand stories. And so that's just an incredible honor to have gotten to meet them and just share in his legacy. And for so many of these girls to just hear these stories, so many of these girls are the only girl on their boys baseball team at whatever team they are playing with back at home. And one of the things that's so special about the Trailblazers series for me is I tell many of these girls when I was their age, it was pre-social media, pre-Google searching. And so honestly, Mark, I did not know other girls were playing baseball. And so for these girls to have a space to get to meet and see other girls playing baseball, to know that they're not alone, to form this baseball family and community is really something special to be a part of. So I feel so honored that I get to coach this event and several other events with MLB for these girls playing baseball. Is an extreme honor for me.
Well, I want to thank you for that. And you even have some legends from the All-American girls occasionally coming out there as well, don't you?
We sure do. Maybelle Blair joined us along with Janine Lesko, and the two of them are incredible. And if you ever get a chance to just sit down and hear stories from either one of them, is absolutely incredible. And so they were both there this past weekend. They get to speak with the girls, share knowledge and encouragement, and share their stories. And it's always a joy to see the two of them.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, the whole thing of it is, and I'll just spout off here. I've got a brand new granddaughter, and all I can think of is I want to make sure she has every opportunity. And she's just 2 months old, but I'm going to find the right size glove for her and put her in her hands here shortly. So
never too early to start playing a game of catch.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you. So what else is on the agenda for you? What's has caught your attention or something that you work with right now?
Yeah, I think just sports projects are incredible. I mean, tying it back into what we just did with the Trailblazer series, we know the importance of sports and then combining sports with architecture, the importance of how buildings can impact spaces, right? The places that you have to train, to be an athlete, to reset your focus. And the spaces that you train in are important. It all feeds into the mindset that you take out onto the field. And so something that's very important to me, Mark, is women's sports facilities. Thankfully, we've seen a lot of growth with WNBA and women's soccer, but I think there's a ton of design components that can happen there, right? Like it's not just a copy and paste of NBA to WNBA. It's a design space where you can completely reimagine all of those facilities, right? It's not just a locker room, but how is it simply catered to a female athlete? How do you have to reimagine things down to the training facility, down to nutrition for women, down to what does the training look like differently, of even the training room and the heights of those, and how can we reimagine all of those facilities and give female athletes the elite performance centers that they deserve, and catering down to everything to childcare, to anything else that they might need to help cater to their careers. And so as a female athlete, as a female architect, that is something that's very passionate on my heart and on my mind for next projects here, Mark.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of times I think those of us who aren't in the know say, well, it's just another place. They can do it cookie cutter. They can just pick up that blueprint from 15, 20 years ago and just slap it down over here and it'll be just fine. But we all know the truth is much better than that, as far as trying to make something that is contemporary, that fits the needs of the athletes and the fans of today. To me, I like that mindset, because sometimes I don't feel like it's always deployed as well as it should be. The one size fits all ain't the way to go, boys and girls.
It's not. And I think all these female teams, whether, we now have a professional hockey league, we have professional women's volleyball. This is such an incredible time of growth for women's sports, and all of these teams deserve a cutting edge elite facility for their players and staff.
Well, great. I'm glad. It sounds like a really great mission for everybody who's looking at development for women's sports, to make sure they've got that on their checklist and make it happen. So thank you for that, Meggie. I appreciate it. Wow. Whole lot going on. I'll say it again, Meggie. What I like about you is we can't just put you into one little column and say, hey, this is who you are. I mean, while you've achieved so much, whether it be with the USA Women's National Team, as a relief pitcher, and I love just that you devastated Japan after 39 wins.
That was such a fun game, and that was such a team effort with Jill's home run hit down the left field line, and Jamie Baum pitched an incredible game that game. And so just full team effort there to defeat Japan, who is an incredible team and deserves all the respect, but a lot of fun to finish that winning streak for them.
Well, again, that, and then when looking at you as an architect and looking at what you've done also in Uganda, like I said, you're not just fitting into one column. You're a person who's done a lot and excelled with each one. So thank you for that. As I appreciate all you've done and all you continue to do. So thanks again for joining us on the show today, Meggie. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. I always appreciate getting to be on your show, and thank you for everything that you've been doing.
You have been listening to Baseball Biz on Deck with Mark's special guest, architect and USA Women's Baseball National Team pitcher, Meggie Meidlinger, whose contributions excel beyond taking the mound. Thank you to Meggie as we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day in 2025. Just a reminder, you can find Mark on Blue Sky at baseballbizondeck.bsky.social. You may also find Baseball Biz on Deck on iHeart, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and at w.baseballbizondeck.com. Special thanks to XTakeRUX for the music Rocking Forward.